because sometimes, boom, I can answer just like that. I said, nope, don't do that. Don't even go look at that one. It saved a lot of time and effort, you know? So I want to go back to, that was my story just to show you where I came from and how things work out. But this is the trend of real estate and the prices and how they've gone up nationally. So if you look at that, you'll see, you see this right here? What are you seeing here? You see pretty quick, right? It's going up fast. And then what happened? Went down. Now what are you seeing now? Yeah, I mean, I think a crash is coming. I'm not an economist, how can prices continue to go up when income's not going up directly related to that, right? And the economy is going into debt, trillions of dollars a year. How can this continue to go up? So the good thing is I'm looking forward to that because I'm poised and ready to buy the good deals. And I know what a good deal looks like, and that's where you need to be. You need to know what a good deal looks like when that market is ready to drop off. You need to know this is when you need to be buying. Right here. I buy every day. Here. I'm always buying. But where we really can get good deals is right here. Okay? So the average home price, I'm going to exit out of that one. This is history of home values. Is this important? Is this intriguing to you guys?
Yes. Now, the thing about Pittsburgh, though, is we never had the 20% a year spike.
We're going to look at Pittsburgh
Vegas
and we're going to look at San Francisco to show you the difference.
Okay.
Okay, so history of home values. This was just neat. So in 1890, I read this, and this chart shows like $100,000. That just means in today's economy, in 1890, that's what you would have paid for a home. Because you probably bought a home for $18 and a goat back then. But it was $100,000 today's money. So 100 and whatever years later, this ends in 2010-ish, we are at, wherever we are at. Anybody see that?
Like 150, is that right? Or
145.
July, was that say July 2010 there?
2006.
Okay, so that was, this is kind of an older chart, but we'll stop there. That's where it was, and that's probably where it is right now, to be honest, because we saw that chart and it's gone up actually over what it was. Remember, it hit the high and it dropped back down. So the price of a house doubled, it over doubled in 100 years. So let's shrink that down and let's not even focus on this half right here. Because you went through some serious, I mean, right here was like the Industrial Revolution, so a lot of things were changing there. You were going from a farm-based economy to people moving to the cities and working in steel mills and all that stuff. So this is just weird. Then you went through a couple wars, you went through a depression. Here's where you start looking at, like right in here, like 1960, and you can see real estate is just, if you stopped and did the chart right here, kaboom, you know, it's gone up really quick and very much at a fast level. Okay, so just looking at that and knowing, okay, that's kind of interesting. Give B, how's that going to help me?
Why do you think that is?
Well, we went from I don't know.
What do you mean by that? Be more specific.
Yeah, why? Why has it gone up like that?
Well, I just wondered, like, I was talking to someone, older who bought his house in Mount Lebanon maybe 30, 40 years ago for $38,000. And that, do you think, I mean, in 30 years from now, I just can't see the properties going up that much, like, do you think?
We're gonna do one. We're gonna pick a percentage, like the average right now, so nationwide, is 3 to 5%. So we're gonna use 4% appreciation. And that's about what it's been in Pittsburgh for quite a long time. I did research, and in Pittsburgh, it's been like 3 or 4%. Now, some areas, does anybody know, like Lawrenceville at all?
Lawrenceville was 0 for a long time.
Lawrenceville
and then it's
was horrible, and now it's probably gone up hundreds of percentages, right? Hundreds, not single digits. So certain areas have gotten real hot. I'm just using the average. If you hit a home run and you just happen to be the guy that could foresee the future, guy or gal, and buy in Lawrenceville knowing that, you know, we're gonna have Uber come here and there's gonna be some tech stuff going on, and that area is gonna explode along with East Liberty, which is a war zone. If you had that forethought, then you are an ultra multi-millionaire now, okay? But there's only a few of those areas out there, and we don't know where they are. I didn't know that. I didn't know where they were. I was buying a lot in Sheridan, thinking, oh, boom, it's gonna expand. In 20 years, it hasn't done nothing. So what I think the problem there is, in Sheridan, there's no real business district. Does anybody know where Sheridan is?
Yes.
It's a great community.
South of Lawrenceville.
Except for the shootings and the drugs. It's a great community. It was a neighborhood with very rich people back in the 1920s, 30s, 40s. There was a lot of rich people that lived there. So it's nice houses, sidewalk communities, small community, you know, you probably knew everybody. But for now, with the way today is, if you notice Lawrenceville, you can get out of your little townhome that you're cramped in like this and there's no parking, but people love to live there and spend $400,000. You can walk out and go get a Starbucks, you can go get a pizza and a hoagie, and you can walk your Chihuahua, and that's a lifestyle. It's not my lifestyle, but if you want to invest in real estate, what you like maybe not what is profitable. So you have to go with the trends. Sheridan doesn't have that, so I think I finally realized that what Sheridan got, other than some neat houses in a nice community, but it's infested with drugs and crime, and I just don't see that ever coming around. So I'm not investing in that area right now anymore.
And Lawrenceville didn't have any of that, you know, in 2006, so I mean.
But they had the road for it. They had Butler Street, and they had, you know, Sheridan doesn't. You'd have to get in your car and go to the West End, and the West End is so small. That's why the West End hasn't taken off. The West End's prime, right, ready for it. But there's not enough houses within walking distance, and there's not enough streets down there that you can have any sort of shops or shopping district. It's just not enough room. That's my thought about it. I could be completely wrong.
Even in Elliott, right? In Elliott?
Yeah, I love Elliott, but I've invested over there for a long time, and I don't see it, you know.
There's a police officer, because I go to church out there, and he was telling me how he thinks it's gonna be the next Lawrenceville, and like you're saying, I don't see the business aspect of it there. I think you would need.
Yeah, because if you look at like the south side, which is another example, some of those houses are ridiculously horrible. Has anybody seen like a house in the south side worth $200,000? It's like, that's just nasty. Or that same house in Sheridan or West End is like $40,000 and it's $200,000 in the south side. Why? Because they can get out of their car and walk to 10 different restaurants, okay? But again, that's just how I see it. I know a gentleman who's investing in the McDonald area, because they're bringing in that expressway through McDonald, and he's putting all his money into that area. He's done quite well. He's a smart dude. I mean, he knows what he's doing. I presume he's gonna be right. I don't know. I'm just saying, that's where he invested his money, because he knows something's coming there, which in this case, McDonald's kind of all by itself, not like it takes you hours to get there, but to get from McDonald to Pittsburgh might be 40 minutes, and to get from maybe North Fayette or Hankey Farms to Pittsburgh is 20 minutes. That 20 minutes is a big difference to people. So that expressway could change that. So,
McDonald off of Route 70, Interstate 70.
It's south of the airport.
yeah, McDonald is south of Oakdale.
It's like 5 miles from here, right?
Yeah.
5-10 miles backwards
They
from
go
here.
like 10 miles west of here.
Yeah, it's like as the crow flies, you're there in 5 minutes. As the roads fly, you're there in it's 15, 20 minutes. That's the downside of McDonald. Okay, so somebody asked me about Mount Lebanon. Who was that? Mount Lebanon real estate. Okay, so using that 3 to 5% rule, which let's take a look at that real quick. So this is Pittsburgh home prices and values. get that chart, okay. So in 2009, so remember that was, unfortunately, this doesn't go back further, but I'd like to be able to see that, but this was the crash right here, so it bottomed out. And you can see from 2009 to 2019, 2018, we're at, what was the average?
144.5, isn't
Yeah, 144.5, and it started at, holy crap, like 80, you know? That's almost double. That's almost double in 10 years. So that's not 3 to 5%.
No, that's
Is it?
about 7%. 7% over 10 years is a double, I believe.
So you see what I'm saying? What numbers do you use? If you use the sky is always sunny numbers, then you're gonna use that. If you use realistic numbers, then I think you're better off.
Yeah, you should use 3%, I think.
Yeah.
If you use the low end to be safe.
Yeah, it's not like 7, it's like.
The safe means that you
One
can
and
still
then
play the
9.
game, right?
Exactly. Okay, and let's look at San Francisco. Let's look at the average sale price. The average price is 144. Okay, now let's look at San Francisco. Average, that's why you have a lot of investors coming from Dubai, from China, from San Francisco, from New York, to buy here, because it's affordable. It's just as difficult to make money here as it is in all those countries, except have bigger pockets. Okay, so we have, you can see in 2012, the average house was 600K, and now it's well over $1.3 million. Kaboom. Okay, so I just wanted to show you those charts to give you a general idea, a backdrop of what we're going to talk about. Okay, so that house in Mount Lebanon, let's say today is worth 100 and, oh, what do you think an average house in Mount Lebanon will cost?
250.
210, okay. Okay. And we're gonna use 4%, and we'll do a 5-year. In 5 years, it's gonna be worth 255. Does that seem like a lot to you guys? It seems like a lot to me. I'm like, holy crap, okay, so I buy a house, and let's say I wait. Like I always talk to clients who are waiting, oh, I'm gonna wait until I save up a little more money. Yeah, you probably should buy now, because this house in 5 years is gonna be worth 255. How much more can you say, you know what I mean? You're not gonna be able to save enough, unless you're, I could be wrong, but what I'm saying is, generally speaking, you should buy now. Okay, if you're gonna stick around in this area, buying a single-family home and living here, you should buy now. Okay, if you're gonna move in 2 or 3 years, you probably don't wanna buy now, because that's how you can get really big trouble, right? Like in San Francisco, you buy a house 7 years ago that was $1 million. 3 years later, it's 1.3, and then what happens if the market crashes? And it drops down to 800,000. You need to move, you know, because you knew you were only going to be here 3 to 4 years. That's when I really don't think you should buy. Okay, it's risky, because what happens is that's $200,000 difference, plus you got costs to sell, plus you got to move to go to your new job, because you knew you were going to be relocated, and now you have a house that you can't rent for anywhere near what your mortgage payment is. And that's what happened in the industry. That one scenario times $1 million caused the mortgage crisis, right? It caused the bust of the balloon. So knowing this, so if you want to buy, you want to have net income of $500,000 a year, and let's say your dream is to own Mount Lebanon style houses. So now you need to take this one scenario and see how it works out, and then multiply that times how many of those you need to get to your net number, right? So we're working the way backwards. This doesn't mean you can do this and it's gonna work. I'm just gonna say if Mount Lebanon is what you wanna do, and then, so we're gonna look at that. So at 4%, it's worth $255,000. Let's do 12 years. Time period 12. Okay, so it's worth $336,000. Now we're going to go to a loan amortization schedule. Look at that. All right, so you paid $210 for that house. How would you finance the first one?
Well, technically I would be a first-time buyer, so I can get it.
Well, let's use a different scenario. If you were gonna buy for rental purposes only, you need 20% down. So do you have 20% down? Okay, so you could get it, or you could buy this. So this is how I buy houses, and I'll just share this with you. So it's $210,000. I go and get a loan from a private lender. My nephew here, hate to put you on the spot. Evans lent, he's a good kid and he saved his money. He's very frugal, so to speak. Very good saver of money. How old are you, 25?
24.
24, has just lent me $60,000 to do one of my projects. So I used his money, paying him 10, 11, 12%. That's not doing him any good. And I bought a house that was $50,000, and the extra 10 I used to fix it up. So what did I buy this house with?
None of your money.
None of my money, right? So you could do that. But in Mount Lebanon, the difficulty there is finding one. It's such a high demand area that everybody wants to be and grow up and raise their children in Mount Lebanon, okay? So who are you competing against as an investor? Yeah, everybody, right? So therefore, finding the good deals, because you always want to get them under market value, right? How do you get something that's under market value? Is it pristine, moving condition, the best neighborhood?
No.
Probably not.
It's the worst looking house on the block.
The worst looking house on the block needs the most amount of work, smells the